On a quiet beach in Australia, an unidentified man became the center of one of the 20th century's strangest mysteries. The story began in Adelaide, Australia, in the final days of 1948. At the time, Adelaide was a busy city, yet an unusual mystery was about to attract worldwide attention. The location seemed ordinary, but the details discovered there were anything but ordinary. Witnesses had noticed a well-dressed man sitting near the shoreline. His appearance suggested an ordinary traveler, but investigators would soon discover something unusual. Authorities soon began examining the scene and trying to determine the man's identity. There was no obvious identification that could immediately explain who he was. Investigators carefully examined everything connected with the unknown traveler. Even his belongings offered surprisingly few answers. Soon, newspapers began reporting the strange case. The unknown man quickly became a subject of public curiosity. Investigators began reconstructing the man's movements before he arrived at the beach. But tracing his movements proved surprisingly difficult. Every small piece of information was examined for a possible clue. Investigators also looked for clues in handwriting and personal records. Archives were searched for anything that could reveal his identity. But every lead seemed to raise another question. Who was this man, and why was no one able to identify him? Investigators hoped that even the smallest detail might finally provide an answer. The investigation expanded as experts studied every available clue. Researchers began connecting locations, dates, and witness accounts. Yet the beach where the mystery began remained the most important location. Inside the case file were clues that would remain mysterious for decades. And this was only the beginning of the Somerton Man mystery. As the investigation continued, authorities searched for any record that could reveal the man's identity. Names and records were carefully compared with the available information. Even his photograph provided surprisingly few answers. The mysterious case continued appearing in newspapers across Australia. Public interest grew as more people learned about the unidentified man.
Investigators spoke with people.
Investigators spoke with people who might have seen him before.
Every description was carefully recorded and compared. Investigators reconstructed the places the unknown man might have visited. Travel records became another important part of the investigation. Researchers searched timetables and travel information for possible connections. Archives across the country were examined for possible matches. The man's clothing and belongings were studied in even greater detail.
Even
Even small details in his clothing became potential clues.
Reports were written and new information was added to the growing case file. Yet the pieces still refused to form a clear picture. The investigation had many clues, but no definite identity. The location where the mystery began continued to attract attention. Investigators carefully reviewed the surroundings once again. They recorded every detail that might help explain the man's movements.
The mystery had now become a subject of conversation throughout the city.
The story also reached audiences through radio and newspapers.
Decades later, historians would return to the original evidence.
New technology offered researchers new ways to examine old clues.
The mystery survived because the evidence itself remained available for future researchers. But the most intriguing clues were still waiting to be discovered. Decades later, modern researchers returned to the case with new technology and new questions.
Digital restoration offered researchers another opportunity to examine the mysterious case.
Researchers began comparing information from sources that had once been kept in separate archives. Previously overlooked documents could now be connected with the original investigation.
Handwriting and other small details became subjects of renewed study.
The man's movements were reconstructed using historical records and geographical information.
Each location added another piece to the complicated story. Technology made it possible to search thousands of pages much faster than before.
Possible connections were carefully examined, but certainty remained difficult.
The case eventually became one of Australia's most famous unsolved historical mysteries. Its unusual combination of clues continues to attract historians and curious visitors.
The original evidence remains an important part of the investigation.
Even after decades of research, several important questions remain.
The passage of time has only made the mystery more fascinating. The city has changed dramatically since the original investigation. Yet the location connected with the mystery remains remarkably recognizable.
Past and present continue to meet in this unusual story.
Researchers continue looking for a detail that earlier investigators may have missed.
Sometimes, solving an old mystery depends on noticing the smallest detail.
The story has survived through generations because its questions have never completely disappeared.
And perhaps future research will provide another piece of the puzzle. The identity behind the mystery continues to fascinate people around the world. For now, the case remains a fascinating chapter in Australia's mysterious history. Who do you think the mysterious traveller really was? Share your theory and subscribe for more fascinating mysteries from history.